Hey everybody, welcome back. This is HD.
And this is Pain User.
We're back for game number 3 between Zelniq and InControl, and this is in the HD World Tournament. Remember, this is a tournament that I did organize. I have Pain User as my co-caster, and it is a $1,700 plus 50 prize pool. This is game number 3, and obviously only one player can win here to advance to the round of 8. And they're already having a little bit of a conversation here. InControl saying what gave away what I was doing, and Zelniq says, you had no expo, and he had an overlord there. So InControl. So I guess that's how Zelniq realized that the 4-gate was coming, because if you guys recall in game number 2, Zelniq produced units just in the nick of time to deal with that 4-gate, and I think really it came down to Zelniq seeing the sentries coming out with his overlord. So really nice play by Zelniq in game number 2 to tie the series up. It's now currently 1-1.
Zelniq and InControl having a little bit of a dialogue here pre-game. Zelniq saying that he just predicted that InControl was going to 4-gate one of the games, and I don't think that's a bad assumption. I'm going to have to play InControl coming up here at MLG. He is in my group in the top 16 bracket, and we will inevitably have to play one another, and I think he might 4-gate me one of those games, but we shall see. It depends on how it turns out in TVP. Is obviously a different matchup, but Zelniq staying one step ahead of the game. He did a great job in that last game, produced just the right amount of units, was able to pinch out a few extra drones, and InControl's lack of an expansion really what cost him that game. I feel like if InControl hadn't committed so hard at the natural and lost all those units, he might have been able to pull it back and salvage the rest of the game and put up an expansion. But I think what really did him in was losing all of those sentries at the natural. That's a huge hurt for him, and he's actually going Nexus first on Shakuris. So InControl flipping the script a little bit this game and going for a bit of an eco cheese. Gonna get an aggressive economic lead, but Zelniq might be able to punish this with pool first.
Yeah, nice read on that, Pain User. As Zelniq, he has not gone for a hatchery first. He has gone for gas and pool, so he may have speed pretty early on here. It looks like he's saving up for a hatchery, but that probe already there at the natural means that's going to be prevented. And now Zelniq comes in with his overlord. And remember, with this Nexus going up first, we have no gateway units. We just have a forge for cannons. So this is potentially vulnerable to Zerglings. With that photon cannon now coming up on the way, it's going to be a close race. Already 2 Zerglings pounding down this pylon, and I don't know, maybe Zelniq, I don't know if he can actually bust that natural down. Oh my god, InControl throwing up a second pylon to prevent the hatchery for as long as possible. Now Zelniq getting it down.
I don't even think that second pylon was blocking the hatchery.
Maybe it was just there to delay just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to buy time just to make sure that cannon gets up, and once he has that single cannon up, I think he'll be in a safe position. I wonder if I saw this as a Zerg player, I might just do something along the lines of like a Kyrix or like July Zerg style versus Terran, and just do like a really aggressive 2-base Baneling bust, yeah. But like a high economy Baneling bust, you know, not like a 1-base super quick gas 6 Banelings all in type of thing, but a little bit later on in the game you can actually do that to Terran and just bust through everything, even if they have a Rax wall. And I feel like although, yeah, the one thing Protoss does have in their favor, if you try and do something like that, is force fields. Force fields, obviously, you can't bust through those. They're impenetrable walls of something that Banelings cannot get through, so I think that might be one of the reasons why. They're
force fields. That's why they're called force fields. They are impenetrable and invincible and very, very strong. In fact, that's a great point right there you make, Pain User, because I don't know, Zelniq right now is actually not getting extra gas. He only has 1 drone on the geyser, so it kind of tells me that I don't think he's gonna go for a Baneling bust. I don't think he's gonna go for roaches. I could be wrong, but it looks like right now he's just primarily focused on droning up, which is fine, but he's gonna have to get a 3rd, and in fact, I would like to see Zelniq get a 3rd now, because, you know, he's got this overlord here. He sees there's absolutely nothing in InControl in terms of army units, so this is the perfect time to grab a 3rd. And yeah, Zelniq getting that 3rd hatchery down, so playing it like he should. But now, wow, look at this. We have a Stargate coming up inside the main. InControl is going to try to he's just going to try to go straight for the skies and make it happen. And Zelniq, he could be in a lot of trouble. He has not scouted this Stargate yet.
Yeah, that's something you actually see a lot in PvZ. A lot of Protoss players will get that quick Stargate.
Oh, the Overlord. It could go down to the Photon Cannon.
Oh no, that would be terrible.
InControl actually has the Overlord selected, and the Overlord gets taken down.
Oh no, that sucks. Just a little bit of a miss micro there by Zelniq, actually putting him in the red on supply. Zelniq saying, wow, really? I don't know if it's the best idea to say things like that in like a competitive match. Yeah, InControl saying, I will take it. Obviously, he will take it. I mean, they're in a competitive match here. They're playing in a tournament. They're for a good amount of money, a sizable amount of money. It's one of the bigger tournaments out there right now. So I never really say anything like that in a match that'll give my opponent any kind of more of a mental edge than he already has. But yeah. InControl getting out these Phoenixes real quick, and he's probably just going to use those to scout majority of the map, and then also maybe pick up a few drones here and there, maybe at the third or the natural.
Yeah, they actually got using Chrono Boost on a third Phoenix, so I think InControl is going to take to the skies here, Pain User, and this is the one deadly thing about Protoss players. I mean, already InControl. Why do I keep calling him Pain User?
I don't know. I'm right here.
He's not even a Protoss player, man.
We love each other. I don't know.
You know, this is the one thing InControl is so deadly with is, and any Protoss player, he's already got the mindset. He's already kind of toyed with him, but now he's going to take the skies with these Phoenix, and the one most deadliest thing when you're playing Zerg against Protoss is that Protoss Deathball, man. And these Phoenix early on really set up that Protoss Deathball. You get Phoenix to control the skies, you prevent any mutas from coming out, and then you go for those Void Rays and Colossus, and man, that's just so hard to deal with. Look at InControl, he's coming inside the main, almost picks off a Queen. And now he's going to fall back, and now Zelniq's going to get some Hydralisk. But yeah, Pain User, I think Zelniq here, he's going to have to come up with some kind of game plan because now the map completely belongs to InControl.
I feel like Zelniq really could have gone for like I don't know, Phoenixes might have been able to shut down like an early aggressive drop with Hydras and Overlords and Overlord speed, but that's been working out very well for a lot of Zerg players where they just do like an aggressive speedling Hydra drop really early on in the game, because really InControl has no units to speak of right now. But credit to him, the build he's doing is pretty solid. I like the way it's played out so far. He's really been able to retain a lot of control with those Phoenixes, kind of just moving between the main and the natural, keeping Zelniq on his toes, forced Zelniq to invest in a lot of Spore Crawlers, got a Hydra Den as well, and Zelniq sitting at 900, 800 right now, 1,800. Really, he should take a fourth, and I want to see him get that Hive Tech this game, because they are diagonal spawns on Shakuras. It's going to be a long macro game. InControl really playing a passive fast expand style where he really made no units to speak of. He has this one Void Ray killing the rocks. Looks like he's going to try and take that safe third in the back there, nestled in with the other destructible rocks blocking the other side. So that's definitely a pretty safe expansion for InControl to take. But really, I mean, the whole map is Zelniq's playground right now, and he needs to just creep aggressively and take the whole map, tech up to Hive, and really just get that super powerful Zerg army and get focused on upgrades. But right now he seems really worried about some kind of an attack or something. He's building up his Roach Hydra Ball.
Interesting. Yeah, he is building up. You're right, he's building up a lot of Roaches and Hydras right now. Like you said, I don't know if that's the right time to be building Roaches and Hydras. InControl now, like you said, with that Void Ray killing off those rocks towards the top side. And regardless of what you may think about creeping might be bad in real life, but in StarCraft, it is very, very important to be a creeper. You have got to creep all over the map. If you're a Zerg, man, you got to do it. Zelniq's been pretty good so far about doing that. He's spread his creep pretty far towards the center of the map, and InControl is going to see that hatchery going up at the top right-hand corner. So right now, if we look just in terms of expansions, Pain User, I think that InControl has about the right number of expansions. Zelniq has about the right number, 4 versus 3. So it's really quite an even game right now. Either player can take it away, and it's just going to come down to a macro-based, all-out warfare.
Absolutely, and I know those Phoenixes are denying scouting and they're getting rid of Overlords, but InControl, the way this is playing out, Zelniq is not taking the opportune 4th base. He really wants to be taking either the bottom middle or the base slightly up and to the right of that, his natural 3rd, I guess, on this map, because really right now, yeah, and he might even force the cancel on Zelniq's 4th here with this Void Ray. And InControl really, if Zelniq tries to aggressively take this 4th, he's setting himself up pretty much to lose, because InControl is going to be able to push along that top avenue with all of his forces together and just kind of force his way into Zelniq's natural, and he'll be able to use that choke all the while. at the destructible rocks, and he'll really get a lot of cost effectiveness out of his units. But Zelniq, I think, is taking, yeah, he is taking the natural third, so good job on him right there. But even more importantly, InControl denying that fourth, not allowing Zelniq to get those 2 extra gases, and Zelniq still has not gone up to Hive Tech, and I do not know why.
Well, he does. I guess he invested a lot of his gas being user in Mutalisks here, which I actually don't hate. But the problem here is he hasn't really dispatched of the Phoenix. So there's still a ton of Phoenix on the map, and that is the ultimate counter versus these Mutas. But now Zelniq gonna try to come in behind the natural. These Stalkers have Blink, and those Stalkers, man, I've been wondering what they've been doing all game, because we saw a ton of Warp Gates, we saw Twilight Council, but InControl never really brought his ground forces out. They've been sitting back here waiting for the Mutas to come, and these Mutas are gonna get decimated by the Phoenix and Stalker combination. Zelniq now turning around, realizing he needs to attack these Phoenix, try to whittle down that number. The Stalkers, remember, they have Blink. They are so maneuverable and agile, preventing the Mutalisks from doing any damage. And look at Zelniq's vision. He doesn't even realize a third expansion exists here at the 12 o'clock. So this is really, really bad for Zelniq, as his Mutalisks are just kind of, Pinions are just kind of clumped in the back here with nowhere to run.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing that they can do, especially with these Phoenixes out on the field. The Phoenixes already have a ton of kills, and really, Mutalisks are kind of just like paper mache to Phoenixes. It's like a hot knife through butter. It's like one of the hardest counters in the game. It's kind of ridiculous. And if you're gonna make the switch to Mutas, you have to at least make like I want to say like 5 to 6 Corruptors to go in and tank the Phoenix shots, and at least keep the Phoenixes occupied while your Mutas are doing harassment. But InControl already had those Blink Stalkers, and here is what I did not want to happen. InControl is pushing through those top rocks. He's going to have that little choke to fall back to, and he's going to be able to forcibly kill this 5th of Zelniq, and there's nothing Zelniq can do about it, really, unless he wants to engage there, but that's not going to work out for him. And Zelniq really has no army to speak of. It's kind of similar to what happened last time, actually, but this time he hasn't droned all the way up to 103, so...
Yeah, Zelniq here, his army, like you said, Pinions, are not looking too good. InControl here has 1 armor and 2 weapons. He just took out that 5th expansion, like you said, and is now starting to walk his way down towards the 4th, or I should say this is the 3rd. A couple of spine crawlers here by Zelniq to defend, but these spine crawlers are just puny and pathetic compared to this massive army. Remember, the Colossus can even outrange them. So Zelniq here running out of time. He's actually going to try to go for a base race here, as he's sending all of his Lings, Roaches, and Hydras over to the Protoss natural expansion. Surprisingly, InControl not warping in sentries to block off the ramp, and he is going to sacrifice his natural in exchange for Zelniq's 3rd expansion. And this could turn out a little interesting here, because I guess Pinions or Zelniq realize, hey, I don't have as big an army as InControl does, so I'm just going to try to go for a base race and hope my DPS out DPSs the Protoss army, and this could be really interesting.
There's a huge problem, though. Eventually, these 2 armies are going to have to meet, and I hate to say it, but InControl's army is ridiculously more powerful and larger than Zelniq's. Zelniq's sitting at 1-1 upgrades. InControl sitting at 2-1. InControl has all those Colossus, the magical number 4. 4 Colossus, really the prime number you want, and Zelniq has no Corruptors to speak of right now.
Well, he has 7 on the way.
Yeah, he has 7 Corruptors on the way, but I really don't think that's going to be enough to kill those 4 Colossus in time before he loses, I mean, pretty much everything here. And it looks like InControl is expanding across the top of the map here. Yeah, just going to go ahead and sacrifice his main.
He's throwing up a bunch of buildings, but I do like right now what Zelniq is doing. He's pulling back all his forces. He left the Speedlings inside the main to pick off the structure. Speedlings are very good at dealing damage to buildings, and now Zelniq is trying to split his army and keep it alive so he can pincer the Protoss ball, but this is going to be very, very difficult. Here comes the Corruptors. I don't know if Zelniq's got enough. He needs to surround this army. It's certainly going to be a close one. These Corruptors, thankfully, doing the damage they need to pick off these Colossus, but there's just so many Stalkers down there, man. And,
yeah, there were so many Stalkers and so many sentries, and I think Zelniq accidentally attack moved on one of those Colossus, and all the roaches on the right side just pulled through InControl's entire army without attacking, literally doing like 0 damage, and I think that's going to cost him the game. I don't think he really had a chance before that battle, but if he did have a chance. And also, if you're going to flank like that, you want to make sure that both of your forces hit at almost the exact same time. You can't allow your opponent to dissect your army into 2 different groups. kill the first group, then deal with the second group, because then he's just going to have a huge advantage in supply and in army in general. And the way the Protoss ball works is he wants all of his units close together and clumped up and working together, right? And Zerg,
right.
You need to have that beautiful flank and that beautiful surround, and it just wasn't there.
Right now, both players' infrastructure are actually getting picked apart by the Zerglings and the Mutalisks. A lot of the probes have gone down, but Zelniq's army is just not anywhere near as big as it needs to be to deal with InControl's army right here, which, like you said, is just picking off hatchery after hatchery. It's now on the high ground overlooking the last 2 remaining bases of Zelniq, and this is just the worst position you could be in as a Zerg player. I mean, there's Colossus and Stalkers up there. What can you do? Zelniq, a couple of his Mutalisks here trying to do what they can, but it seems like it is going to be a GG in favor of InControl, and Zelniq is going to call it right then and there. InControl moves on to the round of 8 in the HD World Tournament. Big congratulations to him. Very well played.
Yeah, congratulations to Jeff. That was really well played by him. And yeah, that really just sucked at the end right there, that Zelniq had taken those 3 bases that were right next to each other, because once InControl was able to push into the main and get that position on the high ground behind both of Zelniq's other bases, he could just use the Colossus on the high ground, bounce from one base to the other, and really he just prevented Zelniq from mining or doing anything at that point. So it was like the way that Zelniq's bases had been taken and just the way that all played out at the end. Although you got to hand it to Zelniq for harassing and taking out the entire natural, the entire main, most of the top right. I mean, he was doing a really good job harassing. He just wasn't able to close it out.
Yep. All right, so that's going to be the first game, the first series of games here in the HD World Tournament. We're going to have more games coming out soon with Pain User co-casting, as well as a couple of others, whoever you guys prefer, obviously. I know you guys really like this combination that we have going on right now, and I just want to thank you, Pain User, for taking a little bit of time out of your day. I know you practice a lot in StarCraft 2. You have MLG coming up this weekend. Thanks for taking the time to co-cast with me.
I do indeed.
Yeah.
I'm leaving in 2 days for MLG, and thank you for having me. Thank you guys for showing your support for our casting duo. We really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll be back for some more casts when I get back from MLG in about a week.
All right, guys. So that's going to be the first series of games. More games coming out soon on my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Stay tuned and subscribe. HD and Pain User signing out.